Even if they have reported to camp, there's a lot of guys who aren't practicing at all, or they're not practicing in pads. So handful of guys still not even reported at all. But one guy who has reported, but he has not been practicing, is Brandon Aiyuk. For the past 5 months, Brandon Aiyuk has been making his best attempt to force himself out of San Francisco. After the Super Bowl loss back in February, it feels like ages ago at this point, from tweeting at Mike Tomlin, unfollowing the 49ers on social media, to claiming outright that the 49ers don't want him on TikTok. It feels like it's been a nonstop saga to feels like it's kind of nearing its end. Either the 49ers keep Brandon Aiyuk, they pay him that money, they honor him with that contract, or he gets traded to another team. And now with Trent Williams also holding out, it feels as though we're getting closer to Brandon Aiyuk moving on to a new team. Drew, with you being the 49ers fan, what's your scoop on this? What's your opinion on this, on the Brandon Aiyuk saga? Again, feeling like it's coming to an end one way or another, whether he stays or whether he leaves.
I'm gonna leave it right here. I got my man on screen right here, dapping up John Lynch, dapping up Kyle Shanahan. They're gonna get a deal done here, man. Brandon Ayuk ain't going nowhere. At least not this season.
Mm.
I think this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna sign him to a deal. The guaranteed money, I think, is gonna be massive, and
Yep.
the yearly earnings is gonna be lower than what he's hoped for. I think he's wanted 30. I don't think he's getting anywhere near 30. I think the 49ers are going to sign him to like a 26 and a half 4 year, so 110 million 4 year, 110, but I think they're going to guarantee like 85 or 90 million of that mug to get it done. And
It's a lot.
yeah, I mean, if this is the thing, man, is out of all these NFL contracts over the next couple of years, the player that's making the most actual cash is Patrick Mahomes. Still to this day, even though he signed a 10-year 450, actual cash is Patrick Mahomes. He's the leader in the clubhouse. So if you're Brandon Ayuk, you can have your agent put the number out there and everybody feels great about it. But in reality, all that really matters is how much actual cash you're going to get. Either that or they're going to sign him to like a 2-year 75. And at the end of the 2 years, it is what it is.
You're basically making a run for the Super Bowl, and that's kind of all you're hoping for at that point. Is that the idea behind something like that?
Yeah, it's just this Brock Purdy contract is on the horizon.
Definitely something we'll talk about. Yeah.
You're talking about potentially, they asked a couple players to take less money this year. Armstead is now a member of the Jaguars on the NFI list, not practicing due to injury. Juszczyk felt some type of way about being asked to take a pay cut, but he's still the highest paid fullback. You got I love this man. 49er fans, don't come after me, but could Mr. George Kittle be on the chopping block next year, at his age and production and everything like that? It sounds crazy because we don't have another tight end on the roster that's worth a shit, but things are getting expensive. Purdy's going to be expensive. Yeah. And especially if he comes out and has a season like he had last year. And it's you got to get this Aiyuk thing done, though. The Super Bowl window is here. I've already seen like 6 or 7 predictions of the Rams winning the division and the 49ers not even winning the division. And if that happens, that's catastrophic. But yeah, we got to get it done. We got to bring Brandon back. That's Purdy's number one wide receiver. You don't get rid of the quarterback's number one wide receiver. And for all you guys thinks that the rookie first rounder who has been injured and has dropped a couple balls in camp are going to go out and fill the role of one of the best route runners in the league right now. It's just not going to happen. So you got to bring him back. Pearsall should be ready for next season or the season after that if we move off of Debo or Aiyuk. But if you want to make a serious run at the championship this year, which is what the Niners are aiming to do, you got to sign Aiyuk and bring him back. Because you're not trading him for another player. That doesn't happen in the NFL. We're not trading him for Devontae Adams.
Right.
If that's on the table, sure, do it. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and just touching on the guaranteed money thing, because you said, that might be kind of the sweet spot. It's something I was actually going to bring up with CeeDee Lamb specifically, and when we get into that portion of it, I'll bring up more of the closer numbers to it in terms of the guaranteed money. But that type of guaranteed money, close to that, 85, $90 million in guaranteed money, I mean, that would put him only behind Justin Jefferson in guaranteed money for wide receiver. So yeah, even though he might make a less per year on what it looks like per on paper, right? You pull up Sports Track or Over the Cap, and people are going to look at the one number, but when it comes to the guarantees, he's going to be up there just right behind one person if that really is the sweet spot. Now, in the off chance that Brandon Ayuk does move on to another team, who are the couple of teams that you're eyeballing as potential trade candidates, or where you think Brandon Ayuk would really want to go?
At this point, I've really kind of left that train behind. The fact that he's in camp, and the thing about it is he's not just in camp, he's sitting in the end zone next to John Lynch every single day watching training camp. He's not standing off in the corner.
Right,
We've
right.
heard the stories about Judon and how he's acting at camp right now.
Yeah.
He's actively, talking, he walks by the beat writers every single day and kind of like jokes with them. Like, I'm not exactly sure what the hold up is at this point. To be honest with you, I don't know if we're going to talk about this guy at all or not. I'm sure we're going to, but I think the hold up on the Brandon Ayuk signing might be Trent Williams and trying to figure out a player that's not in camp that wants a raise and a contract extension, trying to figure out what he's going to be. Because Christian McCaffrey wanted a raise this offseason, we gave it to him very quietly. He got a contract extension. So I honestly think the Brandon Ayuk holdup, it may all be done in theory, and it's just waiting to see what's going to happen with Trent. Because Trent has no guaranteed money left on his contract, and that's what he wants. He wants more guaranteed money.
Yeah, I mean, since we're talking about him, we are going to talk about him. Let's just bring it up right now. I was going to bring it up later, but it's perfect time to actually talk about him. He's slated to earn $20.8 million this upcoming season. Next year, he's on the book for $23.35 from the 49ers. The top of the offensive tackle market right now is $28 million with Penei Sewell. When he originally signed that contract, he was right up there with David Bakhtiari. Obviously, all the markets change. They always increase. The NFL makes more money. Cap space gets increased. Everyone makes more money. That's just how it works. Yeah, but that is the holdup, as you brought it up already. Trent Williams' holdup is the guaranteed money. Essentially, what we're looking at, it was a 3+3 deal, 3 years of guaranteed money, and then those last 3 years of his deal, he's pretty much has nothing. It's 3-team options, almost essentially for 2024, 2025, and 2026. I mean, you're talking right now, Trent Williams, future Hall of Famer, 11-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro selection. He was just selected to another All-Pro first team this last season, and then performing at a level that really doesn't look like he's showing his age. It's not really a new contract that he's looking for. He's looking for almost like a restructure. He's looking for more guaranteed money. That's it. He's not looking particularly, it doesn't sound like him from what I was looking at. It doesn't look like he's asking for more. He just wants guarantees. That's all he wants right now. Now, I read up on a couple of ways they could do this to really limit the amount of cap space he's going to hit on them. But do you think it's really risky to sign Trent to more guaranteed money? He's 36 years old, 3 years, he'll be 39. Do you think that guaranteed money is worth it? You just looking at Super Bowl window right now.
Yeah, and the thing is you can talk about his age, but this is also a player that took time off of football. He dealt with an injury, a cancerous injury to his head, where he wasn't playing football for a season and a half, and hasn't shown any sign of aging on the field. I mean, we're asking him to pull on run plays and blow up outside linebackers. You know what I mean? His cap hits over the next 3 years are like 31 million, 34 million, and 37 million. So chances are we were going to restructure him anyway to try to get those cap hits down. Yep. So I just don't think, I think it's one of those things where, the 49ers are really close to signing the Brandon Aiyuk extension, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown signed, and his agent was like, oh, wait, now we renegotiate, right? I think that the 49ers weren't like super expecting Trent Williams to not show up on day one of camp, and now he's not there, and it's kind of a pressing need because the 49ers do not build the offensive line in the way that teams like the Rams and other teams do. they got one superstar on the line and then it's makeshift the rest of the way. So this team does
Right,
not
right.
go without Trent Williams. So honestly, I would give him the money. I mean, it's not my money, but if Trent Williams is going to be on this team the next 3 years, he's going to get the money anyway. It's like guaranteed money with quarterbacks. You know you're going to pay it. So why does it, if the Chiefs came out tomorrow and said, okay, we're guaranteeing all of Patrick Mahomes' money, it wouldn't matter because he's going to get
Yep.
it paid anyway. It's
Yep.
these quarterbacks always get their money because they're on the team, especially these top
Yep.
tier quarterbacks. He's the best or second best, top three at least left tackle in football.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't retire, he's going to make that money. So
Yeah.
honestly, they should just pay him and get it over with because you have two main pieces not in camp right now, and there's football tomorrow.
Yeah,
You know,
and it makes a difference, whether it's for the young guys and learning from Trent. It's leadership. It's the presence on the field. What do you think about this? So what I was reading up on is how would you really move this money around to kind of give Trent an incentive to come back to camp. And the most consensus and kind of the fairy tale way is you take $8 million from the 2026 salary and you move it to 2024. The team could guarantee this year's money and $10 million of the 2025 salary. So the 49ers would pay $28.05 million this year, which is the top of the tackle market. You're guaranteeing that money, and then you're giving him $23.35 million next year, which is a little bit more than what he would make like by 0.35, not that much more. And then half of that money being guaranteed, giving him more financial stability. The 2026 base salary would go down to a non-guaranteed $25.06 million. He'll be 38 years old at that point. Anyways, it might be time for another restructure or an extension to take less of a cap hit anyway, so he's not taking up the full 25.06. That seemed to be one of the better deals that I saw, is just move a little bit of the money around, make some of it guaranteed. The cap hit's really not going to be that much different outside of the first year. First year is the big difference. Second year stays about the same. And the third year, who knows what's really going to be going on in terms of getting an extension done, or he might not be playing at that point. But that seems to be one of the better options out there. I'm not sure if you've heard of that option before, but seems to be pretty beneficial for not only Trent but the team too. The cap space and the cap hits is not really going to be that much different because you're moving a lot of money around.
yeah. I mean, these owners and these teams can free up the cap space anytime they want to. They just have to be willing to open up their checkbook and do it. There's the famous story about Khalil Mack being traded away from the Raiders because Mark Davis physically did not have the $45 or $55 million to put in the escrow account to pay him the bonus. And so they had to trade him.
Yeah.
49ers have the money, obviously. So I think every time a 49er signs a contract, the contract ends up being team friendly in the way they can maneuver it. Parag is famous for this. Going all the way back to that most super famous Colin Kaepernick contract where it was like a series of 1-year deals with at March 1st every year, they could basically cut them for pennies. Their cap gymnastics are pretty awesome. So I imagine this is just taking some time to get it where it needs to be, but Trent Williams is going to play. You're going to pay him the money. So I think they need to get it done. The other thing that's underrated that has been spoken about on both Trent Williams' part and his counterpart is this is the man that goes up against Nick Bosa every day in practice.
Yeah.
And iron sharpens iron. And Nick has talked a lot about the fact that missing all of training camp last year because he was holding out for his contract really hurt him to start the season because he didn't get those Trent Williams reps. He talks about that a lot. Like he talks about the fact that he's the player he is today because he goes up against the greatest left tackle of all time in practice every single day.
Right.
So got to get him in, man. It's running your offense in every day in 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s without your best player is not, there's, your best left tackle, your number one wide receiver. Like how much is really getting done right now?
Putting a bow on it, when are you expecting to get both of these deals done? Timeline wise, what are you looking at?
August 10th.
For both of them?
Yep.
And you expect Trent first, then Brandon right after? very shortly after, I'm assuming.
Yeah, those contracts are both going to resolve themselves. Let me see. I want to make sure I got that timing right. Both of those contracts are going to resolve themselves within um, days of each other, I'd imagine. So August 10th is okay, August 12th. So that's going to be the Monday after the first round of preseason games. That's my guess, August 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got to get Brandon Aiyuk live reps no matter what, at
Mm.
least a series or two, and you don't want Trent Williams showing up on the first. That's got hamstring strain written all over it. You got to get that dude into camp. And honestly, if he's gonna fucking hold out and then you're gonna lose him game one with a high ankle sprain or a hamstring sprain, just let him. Just don't pay him at that point. Like if you're gonna
Right.
lose him for the season anyway, these guys. Nick Bosa had an awful first 8 games of the season last year because he wasn't
Yeah.
ready. It hurts the team and we can't have it. So
Absolutely.